The United States will win the World Cup in 2026, and you will be playing with the team then. All right, what's up, guys? We're here with Taylor Booth. So, Taylor, can you tell me a little bit about how you got started playing soccer?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up into a soccer family. Both my mom and dad played, so I grew up with the ball at my feet. And as I got older and older, I think I began to fall in love with the game more and more. And yeah, I'd say my dad is really the person who, when I was younger, that kind of pushed me to play and was always training me in the basement, training me outside, and really, I think, helped me grow my love for the game.
Yeah, so when I watch you play, your style isn't really so super common amongst most American players in that you really like to get on the ball and spray passes and you're very technical, whereas like the traditional American player is more like focused on athleticism and just like working hard. So where do you think that aspect of your game came from?
I think it's a lot of it has to do how I grew up with the trainers I had when I grew up, and also how I trained when I grew up. One of the things my parents did when I was younger is we had an unfinished basement, and they completely turned it into like a mini soccer pitch. They put turf in it, so and then surrounding it was just concrete. So I would go down there every single day and just get as many touches on the ball as possible. And I think that is what helped me get so comfortable on the ball. And then also one of my coaches when I was younger, Adolfo Valle, um, he really taught me kind of that style of play. He taught me that as a midfielder, you need the ball at your feet, and you have to be a player who always wants the ball. And I think that's something that I learned at a young age, and it's helped me to always be super confident on the ball and always want the ball as well.
Hmm. Were there any like particular players that you looked up to, professional, either current or past?
When I was younger, I looked up to Thierry Henry and also David Beckham.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, there is some David Beckham aspects to your game and like the long balls and stuff. So I can see
yeah,
that. Are you an Arsenal fan?
I am. I
Okay.
am. My dad and my grandpa both are big Arsenal supporters, so it was one of those things where you just grow up and you kind of have to be a Arsenal supporter.
Yeah. I bet it's been a tough couple years.
It has. It has.
Um, cool. So, you grow up playing in the basement and you have coaches and stuff, but how did you end up making the move to RSL? Where'd that come from?
So that came when I was younger. I played for a small club in Utah called La Roca. Um, and when I was there, my coach and one of my, I think, big mentors, Adolfo Valle, his son Fido, actually made the move to Real Salt Lake Academy. And being able to be young and watch him make that move and kind of watch how it changed his game, it inspired me. And ever since then, like I think all the young players playing at La Roca, that was everyone's goal, was
Mhm.
to try and make the jump to Real Salt Lake Academy. And it wasn't easy at that time. There weren't a lot of players doing it. So that was always my goal, was to be able to move down to Casa Grande, Arizona. And yeah, luckily enough, I was able to get into the youth national teams, the first U14 camp for the 2001s. I did well there, and then also I was in contact with RSL for a long time, and as soon as I turned, I think it was 14, I made the decision to move away from home, and move down to Arizona.
Gotcha. So the youth national team call up came before the RSL call up, I guess, or signing.
I think so. Yeah. I think.
Gotcha. Cool. And so I mean, that's got to be tough. What was that like at 14, moving away from home and going to the RSL facilities?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I would say it was difficult, but it also wasn't, because it was what I wanted.
Mhm.
So ever since I was younger, it was really my dream. My goal was to make it there. So once they officially offered me, I mean, it was difficult leaving home at such a young age and leaving my friends, my family. But at the end of the day, it's what I wanted, and I was okay doing it.
Hmm. So what do you think, moving, did you see a noticeable difference in your game? And like, did you see a market improvement by moving away and kind of going to Casa Grande, where you're kind of isolated in that like desert, and then it's like a soccer oasis, right, in the middle of the desert? Did
Yeah,
that, do you find that that really helped you improve?
100%. I mean, I went down there, and I think I was a 2001 playing with, I think at that time the team was 99s and 00s. So I was playing with players 2 years older and also a year older. And I was starting at that time for a really good Salt Lake team. And also I had Martin Vasquez as a coach who
Mhm.
really helped me, and he believed in my game. So I think everything took off from there. That's when I started just putting on very good 90-minute performances, and then also getting into as many national team camps as possible and performing there as well.
Yeah, and things really did take off from there, right? So I know you got offered a homegrown contract
Mhm.
at RSL, and then you're obviously offered a contract by Bayern. Can you talk a little bit about how that came into play?
Yeah, I mean, ever since I was younger, I don't know what it was. I always wanted to play in Europe. Um, and once I started to play at RSL and stuff, I kind of was, in a way, I knew the homegrown was going to come, and in the back of my head, I kind of always knew I was going to decline it. And I always wanted to keep a good relationship with RSL, because hopefully I'd love to retire in the MLS. So I was super honest with them. I told them, look, I appreciate the offer, but I have interest in Europe, and that's my goal. That's my dream, is to play in Europe. So I'm going to take this. And RSL supported me with it. I had a good talk with the GM and the manager, and they said, look, if you have a offer from Bayern Munich, I mean, you need to take it. And
Yeah.
they were understanding, and they supported my decision to move to Europe. And yeah.
Yeah, those offers don't come around often, so when they do come, you got to
Yeah,
jump
for
at the
sure, for
opportunity.
sure. Hmm.
But okay, so you maintained the relationship with RSL, and in the future, you hope it's something you could return to later down the line?
Yeah, I would love to end my career in the MLS and play in front of my family and also my city.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So I imagine that's a pretty big jump, a bigger jump than moving, just across town to Casa Grande, right? So what was it like, moving to Germany at such a young age?
Yeah, yeah, it was crazy. To be honest, the move away from home, I think it definitely helped, because I moved away. I had already been out of my house for 2 years.
Mhm.
So in terms of like homesickness and stuff, I actually feel like it was easier living in Europe, because I feel like it's like a completely different life, you know? Like you're a
Yeah.
completely different time zone. Like I didn't even think about America as much as I did when I was living in, for example, Florida or Arizona. So in terms of that, it was easier than I expected. There was definitely a bit of a culture change and stuff like that. Obviously, a language barrier, but luckily I had a lot of people in Munich that helped me, and they made the jump very easy for me and smooth.
Mhm. Yeah, I know you had Chris Richards there when you were there. So did that help you adapt, just having another American that you could?
Yeah, well, I was actually there a year before him, so I moved there a year before him.
So you were the first one there.
Yeah, but I wasn't able to play because I didn't have my EU citizenship. I was still 16, I think, at that time. So, yeah, I wasn't able to play. I was just training and learning on the language.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
by the time
So
Chris got there, I was already very comfortable with everything and stuff like that. But it was nice when he got there for sure.
yeah, so you were showing him the ropes.
Yeah, I was helping him.
Okay, gotcha. So what was life in Germany like? You talked about the culture difference. What are the biggest differences between like American culture and German culture?
Yeah, I think there's obviously many differences, food being one thing. I think the personality of Germans is very different. I think they're very um, determined people. I
Hmm.
think a different mindset than Americans, and I think it can be it's definitely something that I learned. I mean, they're super hardworking people, And I respect that from Germans. I mean, you see it every single day on the pitch is they give their 100% every single day. And I think that's something that I try to add to my game is that even days when you're not motivated, you don't want to be there. You just have to maybe find motivation from your teammate working super hard, or find it find it within yourself to just put in the work that day.
Yeah. Yeah. Germans are machines, man. They don't quit.
They're crazy. They're
Um,
crazy.
so you'd been there for a few years. Yeah, like the main everyone always mentions like speed of play and physicality when they make the move to Europe about the biggest differences. But what are some other areas of your game that you've improved upon or you've had to improve upon to kind of adapt to that style of play?
I think one of the biggest things that I've learned so far is my professionalism off the field. Obviously, I've learned stuff on the field and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but I think the biggest step I've taken is stuff off the field. When I first moved to Munich, I had a couple of very unlucky injuries, like muscle injuries and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so after that, I was so sick of being injured. So I really focused on myself off the field, um, like little things like my diet, my sleep, my preparation, my recovery. All those little things is what so far I think I've taken that next step in going from a youth player to a pro player.
That's interesting. Yeah. So in making those changes, what is it? Do you feel like more fit? Do you feel like you're less prone to injuries?
Yeah, I think both of those for sure. I feel like my body's just stronger. I think also I have more energy throughout the day. I've changed my diet a lot. Before I would just eat whatever I felt like eating, and now I'm really focusing on what I eat and when I eat it as well. And I think that's definitely something I've changed. And yeah, I've noticed a big difference every day in training and then also in matches as well. I feel like I can go 90 minutes and yeah, I feel a lot fitter as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, what you do on the training pitch, that only accounts for, 2, 3% of your actual time. The other 97% is off the field. So it's really important that you take care of that stuff. Makes sense. All
Yeah.
right. So fast forwarding to present day, you just went on loan to St. Polten. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yeah.
Um,
Perfect.
but yeah, so you made that move during this transfer window. So and you've already made a couple appearances and racked up a couple assists. So I'm curious how that's all gone.
Yeah, I mean, so far it's been really good. Obviously, they weren't doing too well prior to me coming, and I think that's one of the reasons they brought me in is to try and help them and get on a good rhythm. And so far, we got my first two appearances, we got 4 points, and I had two. So that was obviously a good start for me. And I think the biggest thing now is to keep going, to keep putting down 90 minutes as much as I can and helping the team as much as possible. And also the people here have been super friendly, super helpful in making the transition.
Hmm. So I know you've this is really like your first foray into first team football. And then yeah, you're
Mm.
coming in and like the team was struggling and you guys really have to start performing. So what was that like? Is that challenging? Or is it really just same thing as it was back with the second team at Bayern?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously there's pressure, but I think this is, I mean, I play this game for a reason, is to help the team and to try and win as many matches as possible. So
Mhm.
I was definitely ready for the challenge, and yeah, super excited to come here and to start working.
Cool. Yeah, and it's interesting. When you signed or when you made your move, they also brought in another American in Brennan Servania. So how has that been?
Yeah, it's been super nice. Obviously having another American here, that it makes the transition easier. I mean, everything off the field is nice to have a homie after training to just kick it with and hang out with.
Hmm. So are in the couple games that you've played and the training sessions you've had, what are some major differences between the German Bundesliga and the Austrian Bundesliga?
It's a difficult question because I think there's there's similarities between the third league in Germany and here in terms of I think the physicality.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there's crazy tackles in the Austrian Liga, and I think it's good for me to be in that environment because obviously I'm a technical midfielder, and the higher you get in the level, you have to have that bite into your game, and I think it's that I've been adding to my game since I've been in Germany and then also here, is to
Mhm.
be able to get stuck in and make challenges as well.
Gotcha. Yeah. So moving forward and looking into the future, what are your goals for the rest of the season?
Number one is stay healthy. Um, Stay healthy and finish this season off strong here. I think we have 13 games left, maybe
Hmm.
as much minutes as possible. Stay fit and just help the team. And then in the summer, I'll head back to Munich, see what the situation is there, and then yeah, get back to work and get ready for the next season.
Yeah. So you talk about in the summer heading back to Munich. Uh, in the time until then, what do you think you need to improve upon in order to best position yourself to break into the Bayern first team next season?
I think it's one of the big things is like I said, staying healthy, and
Mhm.
then being on the pitch as much as possible. I think I didn't get a string of games in Munich where I was just 90 minutes after 90 minutes on the weekends, and you kind of just get that repetition and where you're super comfortable on the field, you know. So I think it's important for me to find that comfortness on the field, and just get into a rhythm where it's second nature when I'm on the field.
Mhm. Yeah, I think the more minutes you play, the more confident you are, and the more confident you are, the performances will just
For sure. For sure.
improve exponentially.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so now we'll move into some true or false. Just yeah, 4 questions. Um, yeah, the only rule is like you can't cop out. All right, you have to answer them.
I have to answer. All
You
right.
have to
Let's go.
answer them. All right.
No
So
trouble.
number one, you will rack up more assists than any other American this season in the Austrian Bundesliga.
Who has the most right now?
It's you right now.
Yeah, true.
True. You're gonna keep your lead because right now,
Yeah.
like your main competition is probably Brendan Aronson. But yeah, you
How many
got
does he
this.
have? How many does he have?
I think he has one.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
True.
All right. I'm gonna hold you to it.
All
Uh,
right.
so Zach Booth is the best soccer player in the family.
False. He's a good player, but false. Hopefully he can prove me wrong. So we'll
I
see.
like that.
Right now, false.
Your German is better than Chris Richards' German.
True. 100% true. Admit
No
that
doubt.
too. He'll admit that.
All right. So, the United States will win the World Cup in 2026, and you will be playing with the team then.
True.
I like to hear it. Awesome.
True.